Top of the morning to you laddies, my name is Eiichiro. Did you know that I like One Piece? Okay, like is not a good enough word. It's more of, I'm a little obsessed. I've seen every episode, movies, OVAs, read every chapter, and have drawn almost every character. This is a problem and I don't know how to fix it. So what better way to justify my niche hobby than to make an Iceberg video? Cause nobody has done that before, right? This YouTube channel is all about my personal interest and how I go about exploring it. Top 5s, discussion videos, character analysis, and a long ranking video. And Iceberg videos are one of my few favorite types of content, as long as it's about things I'm interested in. But the shocker of all shockers, there isn't one for, well, One Piece. Well, not the type I'm looking for. Come on, I want the weird, obscure facts that only die-hard fans know about. Most icebergs I find on the internet are just fan theories. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? So unlike most YouTubers who use icebergs made by Redditors, I'm just gonna make my own. Because I have the power of God and anime on my side, and there's no good iceberg out there on this topic. Eiichiro Oda. The author of One Piece is none other than Eiichiro Oda. We're off to a good start. He started making manga at the age of 17, having written the one-shot Wanted in 1992, a cowboy manga that he took inspiration from the western movie Young Guns. In 1994, he started working for 3 other mangakas as an assistant. Those were Shinobu Kaitani, Masaya Tokuhiko, and the most infamous of them all, Nobuhiro Watsuki. It took until 1997 for him to finally get his own series, and the rest is history. Toei. Toei Animation is the anime studio that animates One Piece, and I'm just spewing facts today, aren't I? It's one of Toei's longest anime franchises that's still ongoing since it first aired on October 20th, 1999. It has been praised for its stellar voice acting and original soundtrack that slaps really hard. However, Toei has also been a factor of major criticism regarding pacing problems and very subpar animation. The latter one has had a major glow up since Wano started, and now is one of the best animated animes airing on TV thanks to Megumi Ishitani, who has made quality looking animation during the raid on Onigashima. Now if we only could fix the pacing problem. 4Kids. 4Kids Entertainment, aka 4 Licensing or Leisure Concept Incorporated, which was a name they had during the 70s, was a licensing company that filed for bankruptcy and made the infamous dub for One Piece in June 4, 2004. They were famous for introducing and dubbing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! For the Western audience, and helped make one of the most popular TMNT shows of all time. The best one, that's a whole nother talk. But they are mostly known in infamy for censoring and rewriting the anime they licensed, so that they would be more appealing to American kids. And while the majority of the shows could be argued they were made for a younger audience, One Piece was the big exception since that show was known for its violence and death scenes that all got censored. Rifles turned into water pistols, which is kinda funny if you know the whole Delphoid weakness. Sanji's iconic cigarette was turned into a lollipop. The music was changed into some asinine garbage, changing some names like Smoker to Chaser, Ace to Trace, and Zoro to Solo, a name that was probably changed due to avoiding the comparison to Johnston McCulley's El Zorro, but that has been a problem in the official Viz translated manga as well. But the worst thing 4Kids One Piece did was skipping 2 major arcs, Reverse Mounting and Little Garden, for the dumbest reasons. But also skip the Buggy and Kobe cover stories. That being so they could skip right into Drum Island so they could air it during Christmas. That's kinda funny looking back, cause after that they decided to dub filler arcs that came after Alabasta, but what could they know what is and what isn't canon? That implies that they didn't read the manga. The best thing 4Kids did was making the One Piece rap, and that has evolved from cringe to cack. In the end, it was One Piece's first attempt to reach the Western market, which wasn't even what 4Kids was planning to do. They just wanted to dub a magical girl anime. But if it wasn't for this one failure, maybe it would have never been dubbed into English for the better or worse. And speaking of, Funimation. The second attempt for One Piece to reach an English audience was thanks to the most famous dub of Dragon Ball, not the best one. Get it done, fire! Funimation Studios. This studio is a rabbit hole in of itself, so I'm just gonna focus on One Piece related things. Strangely enough, the dub started at Jaya, where the 4Kids dub hilariously ended with the crew almost being crushed by a ship from the sky. So in the 4Kids world, they're all dead. Rest in peace, New Yorker Sanji.
I love a girl who treats me like dirt.
Although they would later redub the entirety of East Blue and Alabasta, also episode of Alabasta, and also have been dubbing the latest One Piece movies that have all been handled by the author Eiichiro Oda. Unlike 4Kids, Funimation has been praised by many for being accurate to the source material compared to the former, but personally, I don't care for the Funimation dub. Like, the voice acting is fine, but some voices just remind me too much of Dragon Ball, or sound very off for a few characters. Calling Klingenbeard as Luffy is my least favorite voice of all time. And Patrick Size as Frankie just sounds wrong. And it sucks, cause I know he's amazing, but his voice is just not my cup of tea.
Well, that's a damn shame.
But if you like the Funimation dub, then all the more power to you. It's either Kazuki Yao or nothing for me.
Frankie!
Netflix adaptation. The 2023 Netflix show that was announced ever since 2017 has finally become a reality. When it comes to adaptations, anime to live action has had a bad, if not worse relationship than live action has with video games, especially American ones. The Light Turner Show and How I Cowboyed Your Bebop are the quintessential big flops of Netflix American anime adaptations, so expectations for this show were very low. But surprise of all surprises, Netflix One Piece has been received very positively, thanks to having a stellar cast. Inaki Godoy is the perfect Luffy, Oda being executive producer, and actually building the ship from scratch for the show. The adaptation of the East Blue Saga is very good, apart from some minor changes and cuts that I have nitpicky thoughts on, but a solid work nonetheless. I think the coolest aspect is seeing a bunch of references like how Luffy and friends dress in a bunch of cover page outfits and cameos that only huge One Piece fans could spot in the crowd. Like, look at this guy, it's Galley! And he's manga accurate. Before this even aired, I decided that the Netflix show should be this high on the iceberg for the single reason that no matter how good or bad it would be, it was gonna be a noteworthy aspect when it comes to the franchise. I'm happy that it came out that good and being right with setting it this high. Fun fact, my mom saw the show before me. Jump Games. Like any other franchise, One Piece has also had its majority of crossovers. The most well-known ones are the Jump fighting games, anime fighting games from Weekly Shonen Jump. The big famous ones being Jump Superstars, Jump Ultimate Stars, J-Star Victory Versus, and Jump Force. With Super and Ultimate Stars playing similar to a platform fighter a la Super Smash Bros, and J-Stars and J-Force are more akin to an arena fighter like the Naruto Ninja Storm games. With Weekly Shonen Jump owning many IPs, you would think that in a crossover that would feature so many iconic series and its handful of main cast, it's easy to believe that everyone gets their spotlight. However, in its latest game, Jump Force, there seems to be a favoritism towards Dragon Ball and One Piece in particular, due to their popularity. J-Stars had 4 One Piece reps, which was the highest number of characters per series, while in Jump Force, both series had 7 reps each, and Sanji, freaking Sanji, had the biggest role in the story mode of the game. One of 2 characters have such prestige, the other one being Light Yagami from Death Note, who by the way is not playable or a fighter. He's just there hanging around with the Xenoverse looking OCs for the game. Sadly, or thankfully, Jump Force has been discontinued so that you can't play any of the DLC fighters, and now the game lives in infamy for 2020 Olympics Tokyo Games. During this event, 3 athletes stood out in the One Piece community for doing iconic poses from a specific anime series. What was it called again? Mad Bull 34? These were, and I'm sorry for mispronouncing these names, Miltiades Tengolo from Greece, a long jump athlete who did Luffy's Gear 2nd pose and received a gold medal. Massimo Stano from Italy, a racewalker who put his thumb in his mouth evolved in a similar manner to Luffy's Gear 3rd technique and finished in first place. And lastly, Peyton Oderdahl of America, a shot putter, did the Frankie super pose and landed in third place after throwing his javelin at 21.92 meters. I have the power of sports and anime on my side. Enel's face. This is a reference to Skypia's main villain, Enel, an antagonist who believes himself to be a god since he has the ability to turn into lightning. Throughout the arc, he has used his powers to neutralize almost everyone in the arc with the sole exception of Nami and Luffy. At their first encounter, Enel attacks Luffy with his lightning powers, but it has no effect on Luffy since he is made of rubber, which leads to Enel making this face, a whole page dedicated to show the once calm, arrogant, self-proclaimed god being shocked that he has found his natural enemy in this weird boy. After Enel and Skypiea, other arcs and characters have had similar reaction faces for similar purposes or other reasons. These faces, or mostly Enel's, have become noteworthy memes around the internet, sometimes even being more known than the actual source material, and fan edits over other medias like JoJo or Pokemon. I sure hope there won't be another weird ass meme on this iceberg. By the way, did you know Enel is based on Eminem? I'm sure nobody has ever made that comparison. Female design. Art is subjective. Whether it is a painting, a sculpture, a film, and even a comic book artist's art style, or mangaka if you really want to sound annoying in public. And One Piece, despite it being one of the biggest series in Japan and the world, the art has been a topic on its own. Some say it's bad because it looks childish and goofy, even though that is the point, while the majority of fans say it looks charming and has just gotten better over the years. But if there's one thing that everyone can agree on, is the subject on how Eiichiro Oda draws a woman. It is a well-known joke in the fandom that Oda likes to draw women with a big bust and a small hourglass figure, while other times he draws thick women like balloons. This joke is so well known that Oda himself has jokingly, I think, shown a sketch on how to draw hourglass women. 2 O's and an X. Simple as that. Sometimes with the thicker ladies, he has on several occasions drawn them with a more iconic hourglass figure, which you can take with a side of salt, depending on how you feel about it. However, to play a devil's advocate, I think the statement is both accurate but also kinda exaggerated. All I'm saying is, if you're gonna use this criticism against him, please, for the love of God, don't use anime screen caps.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
With the whole animation criticism I mentioned in the Toei segment, one of the most infamous things the anime has done is making it even more exaggerated. There are times when people compared One Piece to fairy tales in terms of fan service, and looking back, I'm pretty sure these people only watched fairy tales since it was shorter and comparable series in terms of looks. But that's just me. And finally, I think most authors have drawn far more cheesecake things compared to what Oda wants you to think. I'm not saying there's a problem with how media fixates on pandering to the straight male gaze, but it is.
Women.
Tekken 101.
Okay, hey everybody, how are you doing? Tekking and Barry back again.
Matthew Paul Crawford is a YouTuber known as Tekken 101 who is famous for his One Piece videos, whether it be reviews, discussions, what-ifs, the One Piece D&D, and yes, even theories. He has this insane talent of making long non-scripted videos that I do not possess. Before his channel started to focus on One Piece, he was better known for making Bleach videos. He also does videos on other animes on various occasions. My favorites were My Hero Academia ones. My all-time favorite videos of his were the Tekken vs 4Kids, which made me realize how hilarious the 4Kids stuff was. Also, YouTube removed like 4 of them and I am forever sad about it. In short, Tekken is a swell dude and you should all subscribe to his channel if you want some animal facts. If he does those still.
Why is this my life?
Real life inspiration. Life inspires art, and it's as prevalent in One Piece as anything else. Obvious things like real-life pirates inspiring characters in the series like Eustace Kid, based on William Kid, Jewelry Bonnie, based on Anne Bonnie, Roronoa Zoro, which is something that most people forget, is based on François et Lolonais. There is also the most obvious one, Marshall D. Teets, who shares the epithet and last name with Edward Teets, aka Blackbeard. But some people forget there are 3 other characters who share the similarities with Blackbeard. Edward Newgate, aka Whitebeard, shares his first name. Thatch the chef of the Whitebeard Pirates, whose name is based on Blackbeard's most known alternate spelling of his name. And the lesser known Brownbeard, whose only notable comparison is having a beard in his name and similar braids. But there are other notable real life comparisons like actors, musicians, other famous figures, and other fictional characters. The admirals of the Marines, who are all based on Japanese actors. Spandam's mask is a direct reference to Mick Foley's wrestling persona Mankind. Ivankov is Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and so much more that I could go on and on forever. And it would be foolish of me not to mention this image that has surfaced on the web when it comes to IRL One Piece references. I don't know the origin of this image, all I know is the watermark of @Sato3rd. So feel free to mention your favorite real life inspiration that I've not mentioned yet. My favorite is Vice Admiral Maynard, a tertiary character named after Navy Captain Robert Maynard, who is famous for killing Blackbeard. One Piece theory, Maynard will kill Blackbeard at the end of One Piece. Gear 5th. Okay, Big Bang Bazinga Bing Bong spoilers. Luffy is known for his stretching powers when he took a bite of gum gum, and for like 20 years that was it, just stretching, inflating, heating up like rubber does, I think. That was until we learned that his devil fruit has a lot of implied importance than we could ever imagine. During the 3rd act of Wano, we learned that the Gomu Gomu no Mi is its faux name, made by the government, and is not a Paramecia type. It is a Soan type, and its real name is Hito Hito no Mi Model Nika. This entire time Luffy powers were kind of a stretch. He has actually been tapping into the power of a sun god who has some wacky, water-roony, super loony, big cartoony abilities. And now, this one reveal has changed One Piece and has understated what this entire story is about, being fun and silly. Oda has stated that his story only extends based on what he wants to draw and how his drawings influence the tone. And Gear 5th is probably one of Oda's greatest piece of art. The anime had some big shoes to fill, and thankfully during Wano, which has been the best animated arc of One Piece, probably the first one, but let's not be mean here, the Gear 5th reveal had succeeded all expectations, becoming one of the most viewed and top rated episodes to date. Sure, Gear 5th may have some criticism thrown at it, how it was integrated into the story, which is a legit criticism, but probably the biggest nitpicking comes from the power scaling fans, saying this was disappointing, not what they wanted to see, and just Oda doing his version of the iconic Super Saiyan transformation. That last one really gets on my nerves. Sure, there are similarities, but there are more differences to point out. Hell, Toei put Super Saiyan sound effects to make this argument more of a gripe. Anyway, yeah, I love Gear 5th. It makes Luffy more of an imp than he already is. Hey, remember that Warner Bros. Rumor? LGBT. The LGBT community has had a ton of representation in One Piece, and sometimes, like in other pieces of media, it has its highs and lows. For highs, Bon Clay and Ivankov are one of the most popular characters who are both on the spectrum. And recently, Wano has created trans characters like Kiku, a woman at heart that is not used as a butt of a joke, but actually written like any other good character in the series. For lows, Sanji's whole adventure on Kamabaka Island is a thing that happened, but the one aspect that has had many arguments in the fanbase is Yamato. Born female, proclaims to be a man, most of the time calls himself Odin. Another character uses male pronouns to refer to Yamato. And some have accepted this and feel like this is a great rap for trans males, while others have debated that Yamato is a woman because of design, referred to as female once in story by the introduction title, past tense, and other sources. My thoughts are Yamato turns into a wolf, therefore he is a good boy. Whatever you think of Yamato's gender is whatever you want it to be as long as you are buying the product, and it will not stop an SFW artist from drawing Yamato getting piped. Lesbian YouTuber Melanie made an excellent video about this topic, and it's an overall great video. She's a great YouTuber who makes excellent One Piece character analysis videos. Check her out. Bounties. In the One Piece world, criminals, mostly pirates, get wanted posters for their various crimes. The bigger the crime, the higher the bounty. There's a subcategory of fans that have used the bounties for power scaling, and if you watch Dragon Ball Z, then you know the whole power level thing was used as irony for the villains to underestimate our heroes, and was never to be taken that seriously. I think. As annoying as it is, my concern that in a story where wanted posters are used as a story element for character progression, bounty hunters are barely used in the series. Zoro, that was a side thing just to make some moolah, and if you actually believe in the Zoro plot twist theory, shame on you. Johnny and Yosaku, they're fishermen now. Most of the times, bounty hunters are the biggest jobbers in the series or used in non-canon material. And honestly, do you actually give shit about Citre? Cause you don't. Burning blood. It's so strange that One Piece does not have many fighting games, while Dragon Ball and Naruto have an unnecessary amount of fighting games. One Piece has two noteworthy ones: Grand Battle, the game with the 4-kid stuff, and Burning Blood, a 2016 fighting game in the style of the Naruto Ninja Storm games. It features 44 playable characters, and it's one of the funniest, cheapest fighting games I've ever heard about. I don't know anything about game design, but if I had to guess, the mechanics in the games were made to be accurate to some key characters, which either made some of them too broken or just unplayable. We have Bartholomew Kuma, who can one-shot characters with his pop-off route. Marshall D. Teach, who can put his opponent into an unlockable loop with its black vortex. And Sanchi can't hit women in this 3v3 fighting game. Thank God my opponent doesn't have 3. Fuck.
Oh, fuck!
Let's go, baby.
I can't attack her.
What do you mean?
He doesn't attack women.
Oh my god.
Openings. It's the most basic of all trivias. The anime has openings. I don't need to spoon feed you what that is. One Piece has now 26 openings, with 2 of them being cover of the first opening We Are by Hiroshi Kiradani, who has sung many opening songs and original songs for the franchise like We Can, Over the Top, Brand New Wave. Like with anything, people come together to decide what is their favorite and worst of these openings. The Wano ones are the best ones visually, and Hope by Namie Aruno is the best song, but they are also infamous for spoiling anime-only watchers from time to time. The third opening, Hikarie by the Baby Stars, being the first one that featured Robin before she even joined the Straw Hats. But what I think is the most interesting topic is We Go, which happens to be the longest opening due to copyright issues with Hands Up by Koda Shinsato. Therefore, it never aired in international dubs, nor was it broadcasted via Funimation simulcast. What can I say but Superpowers is the worst opening, don't at me. Toriko. Mitsutoshi Shimabukuro is a fellow mangaka and friend to Eiichiro Oda. He has written 3 mangas, being Sekimatsu, Leader Den Takeshi, Build King, and the topic of this segment, Toriko. Toriko came around during an interesting time in Shonen Jump history. From what I can remember, Toriko was hyped in being the next biggest manga, standing next to the iconic like One Piece and Naruto. It was believed it replaced Bleach as the newest member of the Big 3, which was kinda dumb since it's a fan term for describing the 3 most popular manga series around the mid-2000s, and it has died out. But yeah, Toriko. I believe that the only reason Toriko was hyped was because it used One Piece as a marketing push. They had total of 3 anime crossovers, and the first one was the first episode. Why would you make the first episode a crossover? We don't know who Toriko even is. Who are you people? The third and the last crossover featured an extra crossover with Dragon Ball, and it was kind of a milestone as it had been a while since Dragon Ball appeared, not counting Kai, on TV, and oh boy was that rough. The Toriko anime ended in 2014 on an anime original ending by not ending, and the manga concluded in 2016. But despite Shimabukuro's past sins for being arrested for violating child prostitution laws, and the quality of his manga being a whole another topic, Oda still viewed him as his good colleague and friend. He even celebrated with a party after Toriko ended, which had been and still is Shimabukuro's longest running manga. Perhaps he had atoned for his crimes before writing Toriko. We may never know. My thoughts on Toriko? If I feel like it, I'll make a video on it. Belly. Belly is the worldwide currency in the One Piece world. Exceptions being the Sky Island that uses Extol, Amazon Lily that uses Gore, and Wano that uses gold, platinum, and silver. Belly exists in 6 coins and 3 paper bills, similar to Japanese yen, and to a lesser extent to Icelandic krona that has the 500 as a paper instead of a coin. And unlike both of them, Belly doesn't seem to have a 2000 bill unless they have also discontinued it and or are rare find too. The biggest use of Belly in the story, besides the thing most pirates want, is through the bounty system that we just went through. However, other usages have been to explain Nami's past, how Nami gets all her drip, being a big plot point during Water 7, horrible stuff like slavery, heavenly tributes, Dressrosa's bribery, and the Oppie fruit. Berry is probably the only unique fictional currency I can think of that is not credits again. Pandaman. Originally, Pandaman was a fan request by Eiichiro Oda for the manga Kinnikuman, a series about wrestling, with another Pandaman that appears in the anime and manga. Oda's Pandaman only appeared in the GameCube game Ultimate Muscle Legends vs. New Generation. As for One Piece, he has become a Where's Waldo-like character that hides in many chapters and episodes. Even though he's there for laughs, some people have speculated and theorized that he is an omnipotent god of some sort. I kinda like that theory, especially since he's voiced by Mahito Oba, the narrator of One Piece. He also appears in alternative covers for the manga volumes, where Oda just replaced key characters with Pandaman with hilarious results. There is also Pandaman lore with his own supporting cast, like Panda Woman that serves a similar role with Pandaman on a smaller scale, his rival, the Unforgivable Mask, and Tomato Gang, a debt collector who is trying to hunt and kill Pandaman. Screw what the One Piece is, give us the conclusion of Pandaman's story now! Rurouni Kenshin. Before creating his pirate picture book, Oda worked as an assistant for Nobuhiro Watsuki, the author of Rurouni Kenshin. In chapter 161, Watsuki had a scene where a big guy barfs out a Straw Hat Jolly Roger marked bomb to celebrate Oda's success on making his own series. And just like Shimabukuro, he's also a controversial figure that landed into trouble in 2017, where it was discovered that he had a lot of CP. This led to Kenshin's Hokkaido arc to go on hiatus and came back in 2018 after he was fined for around 200,000 yen. This whole mess has nothing to do with One Piece, but I had to give some trigger warning if you ever wanted to read Rurouni Kenshin, because despite the author's messy mistake and is probably a terrible person, it's regarded as one of the best manga out there, and I'm giving you the choice if you want to read it in the future. Man, if I had a nickel for every time Oda knew a mangaka who landed in a similar controversy, I had 2 nickels, and that money would not be enough to get them out of jail for what they did. Grandlinereview.
Hello and welcome to the Grandlinereview, your source for everything One Piece.
Australian YouTuber Grandlinereview, named Liam, is one of the biggest One Piece YouTubers you can think of. Liam started his career working in theater until he made a decision of making One Piece content on YouTube back in 2015 with his Adequately Explained 101 series. It wasn't until he started to make content on camera where his videos started to catch on and even drew me in. My first favorite video was ranking all the Vice Admirals, because who the fuck would care to talk about all the Vice Admirals? Me. I like content like that if you couldn't tell. Liam also made other channels like New World Review, where he originally started with just any anime that evolved into just talking about Hunter x Hunter. Dude in a Room, a vlog-like channel where he just talks about other things that pique his interests. and Team Pokemart, the Pokemon channel that we don't talk about. Now, like any other YouTuber, he is known for his controversies, like being a YouTuber with opinions that other people disagree with, having clickbaity titles, and the established title sponsorship. The biggest change Liam has made in terms of his content has been getting artists to draw characters to make his videos more safer from the copyright law. The worst part, copyright law are a bitch. The best part, huzzah, supporting artists is based. Out of all the YouTubers I could put on this iceberg, Liam and 2 others just made sense. Pirate Warrior games. One Piece Pirate Warrior 124 or Kaizoku Musou are action-based adventure games based on produced by Koei Tecmo's division Omega's Force Dynasty Warrior games. One Piece is one of the many series that got their own licensed Musou games, and they are kinda infamous like most Musou games for being repetitive. The 4th game came out with the smallest fanfare of them all and looked unfinished in some places, but because video games nowadays come out unfinished, that comes off as an excuse to add more stuff into it later, as it was just recently announced that it's adding more Wano DLC characters. But I want to talk about the weirdest one, Pirate Warrior 2. Most of the times, each game just retells the manga, common trait for many One Piece games in general, but Pirate Warrior 2 has an original story that is kinda batshit insane fanfic, an alternate retelling where Ace is alive post-time skip. All the Straw Hats turn evil, with the exception of Nami and Luffy, via dials that spew evil gas. The best thing we got from this is Perona curing Usopp's evilness by making him depressed. We also get a villain team up with Gecko Moria and Blackbeard. Knowing how Blackbeard and Gecko Moria's relationship is like now in the story, this is kinda funny. This is the ultimate One Piece fanfiction you could ever have, and I love how dumb it is. Gintama references. Gintama is an action comedy manga by Hideaki Sorachi, which happens to be one of my personal favorites, best known for its abundance of parodying various anime, manga, movies, games, and more. There have been various One Piece jokes throughout the show, one where Gintoki reads a fan letter asking what the end goal is to the show, which he answers with, I don't know, I'll just rip off One Piece. There's also the crossover episode with Sket Dance, where Gintoki and Bosun compete to look for a devil fruit that will give them the power to become the most popular Shonen Jump character in the world, with its only vice is turning its users' genitalia into a hammer. Yeah, Gintama is that kind of comedy show. It's hilarious. It's not that long or complicated to watch. Movie 6. Baron Omatsuri and the Secret Island is the 6th One Piece movie that, unlike most of the One Piece movies that came before and afterward, had a very unique art style and a very dark tone compared to most. It was directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who is known for other anime movies like The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Summer Wars, and Wolf Children. All of it have similar art and animation styles, since Mamoru also is an animator to boot. The movie's dark tone is quite a shift when most of One Piece is generally goofy and adventure-esque. One Piece can have dark themes from time to time, but it's not an overall big focus as it is in this movie visually. The movie tackles the themes of death and grief with its main antagonist Baron Omatsuri, who lost all of his crewmates 20 years ago and uses a planned thing to revive them. Despite that, it also focuses on the Straw Hats dynamic being put to the test. And the movie just ends with Luffy St. Charlesing the villain to death, which, fun fact, this scene precedes both the anime and the manga version of Charlos getting dacked, so this might have inspired it. Overall, in terms of pre-Strong World movies, everyone agrees that this movie is by far the best one. Unless you are an agent of chaos who likes the holy cursed sword.
This movie blows.
SBS. Now this is my favorite segment. Not gonna lie, the SBS, which stands for Shitsumon o Boshusuru, meaning I'm taking questions, is so massive that it could be its own iceberg. Every time a volume comes out, it also comes with the question corner where fans ask Oda questions and he answers them in his own quirky way. They range from the most trivial things about the main cast, like their favorite food, birthday, real life occupation, and their bathing schedule, and other random bullshit like Django's chin, to the more burning questions that come from the unresolved plot points like Tama's family and the weird inconsistencies like when Mr. 3 was seen floating in water. My favorite questions are the ones where Oda draws the answers, like the recent sentient weapons and Straw Hats 20 to 40 years in the future in 2 different timelines. There are also special SPSs, like interviews with the voice cast for the Straw Hats, and Usopp Gallery Pirates, the fan art corner with Usopp commentary, and it features art from a young Koei Horikoshi, the future author of My Hero Academia. The most famous and recent question is the Zoro family tree, with a big reveal that Zoro is related to Kuina Ryuma, and his grandpa was named Pin Zoro. If you could ask Oda a question, what would it be? More trivia? Joke devil fruit? Another penis question? Seriously, there are so many dick jokes in the SBS, it's concerning. Cockpiece. Cockpiece is a meme that originated from Twitter artist DeLines, where they drew a giant cock on Whitebeard. Then someone edited a video with a voice clip of his Funimation voice actor Robert Bruce Elliott saying his iconic line, "The One Piece is real," which led to another meme named after the quote with various characters drawn with big cocks, also drawn by DeLines, while playing Dark Fantasy by Kanye West, with an alternate censored version, and Patrick Fabian playing Howard Hamlin from Better Call Saul, doing what I think is a cameo video saying, well, you get the point. And for some reason, this is by far the most well-known thing when it comes to One Piece. I have seen non-fans actually knowing One Piece through this meme alone, and that is so funny. We live in strange time today, and nothing on this iceberg can top this absurdity, I think. Okay, and that's it for Tier 1. Tune in next time when I do make Tier 2. That's a Fox.